Hey. I posted a video yesterday or day before yesterday. Kind of started off a firestorm. Some people don't believe in using adapted lenses. Now, I've run into people like that before. It's whatever someone thinks. It's personal choice. I kind of posted this as an example. This is this lens, a 66-year-old lens mounted on this 2016 Fujifilm. Now, I made two videos earlier today showing me taking this lens apart. Man, it is pure perfection too. Now, it's a somewhat slow lens. It's a 50mm f3.5. It's got 14, oh my god, yes! 14 rounded aperture blades for perfect circular bokeh. It's got soap bubble bokeh, by the way, although you can't see it in this image I'm about to show you because it's heavily backlit. But trust me, it makes soap bubble bokeh like every other Jenna Tesser. Now this is a real one. Now it works. It's just as smooth as frog fur right now. I took it apart and I re-greased it with Tetra Teflon grease, and it is just as 66 years. It's just as silky and awesome as the day it was made. And inside, each little part has its own little serial stamp on it. Man, they don't do crap like that anymore. They just don't. Here you can see it on the XT2. It's like, wow, 2016 camera and 1949 lens. This could be a 1950. But now this one is an image I took with it. It's a very boring picture with some Christmas lights behind it. And this is straight out of camera using my XT2 and this lens. Straight out of camera. The depth, the micro contrast, exquisite. Simplicity is divinity, and you are looking at the pinnacle of simplicity right here. You know, lenses like this aren't made anymore. They're just not. It's like, well, it doesn't have autofocus, it's really small. Yeah, it's not a fast lens either. Now, they have a 2.8 version of this one, but this one actually is divine of its own right, and it's an f3.5. 3.5 is not that slow, folks. A lot of people these days think that it is, but it's not. This image is exquisite. Now, I don't know what you think about the composition. This only took me like 2 minutes to set up. So I can't say that this image compositionally is exquisite, but I'm saying what is actually rendered as far as what the lens is. It's straight out of camera, totally uncropped, untouched, no contrast, no brightening, no nothing. I got other examples outside with this lens. This is a rare old bird. Now the BS, you want to get into art theory, I can go all day into art theory. I had a lot of people tell me, it's like, well, yeah, I'd like you to discuss art theory. It's like, no, every time I do it, it puts people to sleep. It's like, well, you know, they keep telling me, a lot of people keep telling me they want to hear about art theory. I'm not a gear whore, you know. I appreciate modern lenses like this that's mounted on the Fuji. This 66-year-old lens was mounted on this 2016 camera a couple hours ago. Excellent pictures. You know, I spent like 2 hours or so, well, more than that, fixing this lens up and cleaning it out and re-greasing it. Pure perfection now. You know, this lens that's on here, it's a couple years old, less than that, I think. This one's 66 years old. The art is the art. Most people don't know the difference between art and artifice either, and they don't think outside of anything other than sharpness, i.e. resolution, and that's not important. Sure, sharpness is important. It is up to a point, like if you're going to crop the crap out of your pictures and you're taking far distant bird shots, you know, then it's really important. For most photography, it's not. And art and what defines art and the construct of the art has nothing to do with resolution. People have got, you know, photography's been overrun by measure baiters and calculators that know the count of everything and they know the value of nothing. Art has nothing to do with resolution. Resolution is a subset of the art which is manifest in the artifice. So it's not only a subset, it is a subsidiary of a subset of photography. Photography, the art, the logos, the artifice, the actual art, everything starts with the mind. It doesn't start in the camera, it doesn't start in the lens. The most important thing is in the mind. Things that are made manifest that don't exist. The most important thing is the mind. Like do you see this iPad? Do you know where the iPad came from? The iPad came from inspired minds that were watching Star Trek when they saw Captain James T. Kirk. And of course, the Star Trek iPad was back in the 60s or whenever the hell their first series of Star Trek was made. It was a big ass bastard. But that's where the iPad was inspired from. You remember before the iPhones and everything, we had flip phones? Star Trek communicator. Roddenberry and his team of visionaries, they had something that they came up with in their minds. They put that in TV shows. They're completely fake gadgets. But that inspired those things to come to life. This is far better than the super advanced iPad as found on Star Trek. We actually took something that was totally unreal. That's the art, and we manifest it through inspiration into an artifice because it inspired. And what inspires people is not resolution. Because that original iPad on Star Trek, it was you could even tell back when the series first came out, I was like, man, the future technology would not look like that big, hunky, clunky. But you could even tell when he was holding it, it was squeezing, you know. It's like we knew future technology was not going to be like that. It was just a representation. That was a fuzzy image of true future technology, and the future is right here. I've got it in my hands. Now, while we've improved autofocus speed, we've improved a lot of things in photography, the actual artifice itself and what defines art and the logos is unchanged. And that doesn't have jack shit to do with resolution. Does not have jack shit to do with resolution. Not a damn thing. Excuse my cussing. I made an analogy before, and I'll make it again, because sometimes the analogies that shock people the most are the ones that are the most accurate and well-defined. Now, I don't partake of pornography, but let's just make an example, like a tasteful nude, as opposed to like, you know, the sleazy trash that you would find in like a XXX, you know, mag. It's like, I don't want to see that, get that checked out by your doctor, really high resolution. We can really crop in there and see every little fine detail. It's like, I don't want to see that. I don't want to see that. Don't want to see that, That's not saying that it's not artful if it's not done correctly. I'm not going to be the one that defines the artifice and the art that exists within the mind. I mean, the mind of a perv is art to him, and if he expresses it but nobody wants to watch it, it's still the art and the logos within the mind of, a twisted mind. But that is not what defines art. Resolution does not define art, and all these lenses that are like, f1.4 and f1.2, and we have to have super shallow depth of field. That's not important. A shallow depth of field does not define art. Whatever it is that your mind wants to create is the grounds, the fertile grounds for the creation of an artifice, which is the expression of the logos, or the true art which exists in your mind that you're meant to create through an artifice that is re-reflected out through reflected light onto that art piece, or through the computer screen into the eyes of the viewer. What you are trying to do is you're trying to express a logos within the mind, and then use tools to craft that artifice so that you can re-express what exists in your mind through an artifice as viewed through the eyes of somebody else. That is art, bitches. Okay? That is art. I just got done showing you in a prior video a book that was sent to me by Jeff, a huge book on photojournalism. 80% of the pictures in that book are grainy. Obviously, they're film. I shot plenty of film. I mean, I'm crossing my eyes going, film, fuzzy. Some of them are really, that's not the point. If fuzzy pictures are not art, then I'd like to show you a few thousand impressionistic paintings. Each is worth in excess of millions and millions of dollars. You know what impressionistic art is? Like unreal, You get me? It's like, oh, those images aren't sharp. Yeah, it's like, well, that's Impressionism, okay? Or a different art form that is not extremely realistic. Case in point are some of the 50 megapixel images taken from the Canon. Now, having high resolution shots gives you a lot of croppability, and also like on the large photo sites in medium format, it gives you tremendous dynamic range. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about these shots in 50 megapixels where it's of a beautiful drop-dead gorgeous model, but there's so much detail in there that you could zoom in and see the subcutaneous blood vessels in her nose, to where if you zoom in enough, and you can, you know, this absolutely drop-dead gorgeous woman looks just like a flat-out dog. Woof! It's like, damn, you know. Look at the veins right underneath the skin of her, right underneath the pale skin of her nose. Too much, you know. It's too much. It's kind of like, you know, the tasteful nude that's just half lit, that's defining the character. Grainy, you know. I don't need to see anything. You see, the neat way the mind works, and people don't get this shit, is that blasting everything with light doesn't mean anything. Now, this is one of the most boring shots in the world, which I just took it as a test example of this old lens. You know, so don't berate me for this crummy image here, which it is crummy. It is very simple, but it's just and it's straight out of camera. It's no editing done. Now, I can only see half of this camera, and this is also what would apply to the nude photograph or any other photograph that you're wanting to. You know, I don't have to see everything. The neat way the mind works in the via negativa, or the apophatic subconscious filling in of the blank spaces, is that I don't need to see that to know what is there. Mystery speaks volumes. Lack of mystery speaks boredom. You know, flat, dull, perfect. I've seen these people with studio strobes, like, wow, a person's got a studio strobe, but they don't know how to effing use them. They're like, sit there, the subject is right here, they got one strobe here, and they just blast this up. Boom! Everything is evenly lit. There's no character definition. There's no specular. There's no diffuse. There's no shadow. There's just evenly lit, flat cardboard snapshot BS. It's like eating a bran muffin. Where is the character, the definition, the ability to see light and sculpt the subject with the light? That is, and everything is about lighting too. Actually, everything begins in the mind, but everything is expressed through lighting. And if you think it requires a really, really, really sharp lens with like zero vignetting, then you're just a dumbass, okay? That is not art. That is not photography. If that is what you love, or if that is what is required for your branch of technical photography, like cropping the hell out of a shot, for like nature and wildlife, for photojournalism, that's fine, that's acceptable. Anything is valid if it is necessary. My point is that high resolution, none of that stuff is necessary at all. All of that stuff is the absolute last rung on the ladder when it comes to art. The very last rung. It's not important. It's not important at all. Some of the best photographs that I want a huge ass print of are some fuzzy images that are absolutely moving. Okay, images don't move the human mind, girlfriend, okay, because of resolution and sharpness. They don't move. There's not a single effing image in this world that moves the human mind, impels it or repels it or stops the human soul. Go, ha! You're like moving and you stop, you go, ha! Look at that. It doesn't accelerate you towards the image or push you away. And there's a combination of those three. Actually, some images are repellent, but it is repellent to a degree that also ends up dragging you in. So it actually pushes you away and then it drags you back in again. Actually, some of the best images in the world are ones that do all three. They stop you, they repel you, and they draw you in. So they work on all three levels, and those are actually some of the best award-winning photographs. But no photograph moves the soul. The human consciousness doesn't work that way. For all those measure baiters and assholes talking about resolution, the photography does not move you by resolution. It moves you because it moves you. It either has a primordial logos within it to impel or repel or stop you, but none of that shit has anything to do with resolution or being perfectly illuminated. Now, not that this is any example at all of anything, but you know, 70% of this picture is totally black. And this was just a test shot that took me 5 seconds to set up. It's not beautiful, it's not anything, but it's just an example. You know, my mind can fill in the rest of that picture. Okay? That's the creativity that exists. That's the logos within everybody's mind. You have to bring the expression to bear in the photograph. And that doesn't mean high resolution, and it doesn't mean I'm going to blast this shit with light. Bam! It's like I can see everything now. It's like, yeah, you're right, I can see everything. That's not art. That doesn't inspire. It doesn't stop anybody. It doesn't propel anybody. It doesn't accelerate anybody into the... There's nothing special there. All you've done is like, you've taken the magician's trick, and you know, the guy that actually made all his shows, it's like, this is how the magician did his tricks, and now nobody gives a shit anymore. It's because the mystery is gone. Where the mind was trying to fill in the blanks, which is what pulled them into the illusionist art, that shit's gone. That guy is called, what is it, Unveiling the Magician's Secrets. This doofus asshole, like, unveiled all the great illusions of the illusionists. It's like, well, great, now I hate all illusionists. Like, now illusionists are like bums. Nobody gives a crap anymore. Or they're trying to come up with new illusions that have not been, you know, exposed. You know, that's the same thing. It's like shedding light on everything. Human beings don't really like that. Same is true of photography. It's the nature of consciousness. Okay, the true photographer is also a psychologist. Do you understand that shit? That is also undeniable. Normal people don't want to see some sort of, you know, buck-naked, spread-legged, you know, hustler image when it comes to like a new... It's like, yes, I see everything. I see everything. Put it away, you know. Yeah, she's very gorgeous. I'm looking at her face here. I don't want to see that crap. You know, how about something that is like half lit, or, you know, gives definition that actually draws the mind in? It's like, that's art. It's like, that's some nasty porno crap, okay? And this is a tasteful nude portraiture. Okay, you get the difference? Now they could be both of the exact same pose, of the exact same person, but this one is blasted with light and it's high resolution. You can see all the gritty deals, like, no, no! And the other one over here is the exact same person with the exact same pose, but the lighting is different. Or you have special bokeh from, you know, a magic lens like this, for example. He's like, wow, I want a print of that. That's gorgeous, you know. I can only see a hint of that, you know, private area. I don't want to see that. You know, everybody knows what the hell that crap looks like down there. You know, it's just some edge lighting, definition, art, beauty, sculpture, definition with the light. That's the shit. That's the real shit. That's the fucking photography. Not the dude over here that's like, you know, a photographer for the porno mag. It's like, you know, yeah, baby. It blasts everything with light. Everything. You can see everything. No! No! Same thing with the magician, the illusionist. People say, I want to know how the trick is done. They're lying to you. They are effing lying. They don't want to know how the illusion's done. They don't. Because once they know, it's like, fuck it. I don't care now. That's it. I don't want to know. Now you told me. The secret's out. The cat's out of the bag. Before there was mystery and intrigue. Now it's just like, fuck it. Do you feel me now? Here is lesson 101 on art theory. I hope you understood some of that, because those were key salient points. That's the stuff they couldn't even express to me over a very, very, very long period of time in photography school. I wish they'd given me a lecture like that back when I was in photography school, because I would have gone, damn, that really clicks in my brain. I understand that now. I get it. I get it. Yep. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, drop me a buck or two, send me a big fat juicy pizza, go tell me to jump off a cliff, or whatever the hell makes you happy. A big tin of shortbread cookies. No. Bye.